What is up, people? This is Abraham Walker with Ask A Walker, your Northern Virginia real estate agent. Today we're coming to you from Waterfront Park in Old Town Alexandria. Let me just turn the camera around. What I'm seeing, look at that gorgeous view. Gorgeous setting. Well, sometimes I like to do some videos outside of my little studio. And I couldn't think of a better place to kind of have just a little conversation with you about not necessarily the market, but a question that I see a lot of people asking themselves right now, since there are so many changes that are happening in the market right now. So should you buy a home right now? This is a tough question to answer because it's a personal question. So what I want to do is I have like 10 questions that I think that you can ask yourself and you can answer for yourself that can help you to find out if right now is the right time to purchase a home. I'm a real estate agent, so I benefit from the market. So I benefit from you purchasing a home. I benefit from you selling a home. So anytime there's a transaction, someone like myself benefits, right? Because we are essentially the middle person. So I don't want to try to answer this question for you, because I do see that there's a lot of YouTube channels and just in general traditional media where I believe that the purpose of the content that's being distributed right now is to keep you emotional, to keep you full of anxiety, and that's never my intention. You can ask my past clients. You can look at some of the reviews, the video reviews on our channel. You'll notice that almost all of our clients say the same thing, which is that the home buying process, the home selling process is just a relaxing process. And that is our goal. Our goal is to inform you. Our goal is to make sure that you feel comfortable and confident with the decision that you're making, and to take as much stress off your plate as possible. So I'm hoping that this video, the questions that I'm going to provide you, will assist you in making a decision in what can be considered an interesting time right now, with the increase in home prices and the increase in interest rates. So let's jump into the questions. So the first question I want you to think about is, how long do you plan on working? How long do you plan on working? This is an important question because it gets you to start thinking about, how long do you really believe you're going to be making the income that you're making right now, which is going to be the income you're going to use to qualify for a mortgage. This is important for you to consider because some of the media companies right now are benefiting from you not making a purchase and continuing to watch their content. See, on my channel, you should really only watch my content until you make a home purchase or until you sell your home. And then after that, you would only watch the content that we create that's about doing things in the area and some market update stuff, right? Otherwise, there's really no need to be consuming this stuff because it's not supposed to be entertaining. Right now, this content that's being produced is more exciting because there's so much volatility in the market, but that doesn't help you to make a decision, which is whether or not you want to buy a home or not, whether or not you want to sell a home or not. So when you think about how long you're going to be working, that should give you an idea of your income earning years, your higher income earning years. And ideally, you would like to purchase your home where you have enough of those high income earning years to pay off a mortgage, right? I know that a lot of people are bought into this idea of starter homes, move-up homes, their forever homes, all other stuff. I gotta say, the more times you purchase homes, the more your mortgage balance doesn't really decrease, right? And ideally, you would want to create a situation for yourself where you retire and you're able to live in a home, or at least own a home free and clear, where you have no mortgage payment at all, no mortgage payment, no interest payments, none of that stuff. So you're just paying taxes and you're just paying interest. That's going to bring your cost of living down, which should bring some of your stress in your retirement years down. I think that produces a great quality of life. Not all of this moving up to bigger spaces or smaller spaces or better neighborhoods and all the other stuff. You're going to be working for a certain period of time, and ideally you want to use a percentage of that income to pay off your home so that you can have almost like a fixed housing expense, a very low fixed housing expense once you're retired. So that's the first question. The second question you want to answer is, how long do you plan on renting? This kind of coincides with the first question. If you are renting, then take a look at this section of the video. If you're not renting, there will be chapter titles down below here, so you can just skip to the next question that maybe relates to your situation, right? So how long do you plan on renting? Renting, if you're in a position to, right? I know some people are not in a position to buy a home. So if you are one of the lucky individuals who can see themselves moving from a rental to a home purchase, what is your strategy? The market should not affect your strategy. The price of houses, the interest rates should not affect their strategy, because, like question number one, you're only going to be working for a certain period of time. You're only going to be working for a certain period of time. And when you look at those rent versus buying calculations, one of the things those calculations say at the very bottom, in like a little asterisk, it says that you're supposed to be taking the savings, right? The money that you would be saving renting versus buying, and investing that money. But how many people really invest that money? Not that many people. It's not common. It's not to say you can't do it. It's just to say that it's not likely that you will do it. So you really want to consider bulletproofing your financial strategy, right? Because for a lot of Americans, the equity in their home represents a good portion of their retirement. So consider that. How long do you plan on renting? Third question, what benefits do you get from home ownership? I'm not going to give you a list of things that make home ownership make sense, because I feel like that would be almost trying to sell you an idea that you should buy a home. But I want you to start to make your own list, a personal list. What would you get from buying a home? What would you get from owning a smaller property if you're in a bigger property right now, or if you're in a... See, I'm not against purchasing large properties. I just know a lot of people just don't use all the space that those larger properties provide for them, and the purchases sometimes don't make sense. That's just my personal opinion, right? So start to make your list. What are the benefits of home ownership for me? Fourth, we're still talking to the renters. What do you dislike about renting, right? What do you dislike about renting? There's a number of things that make renting challenging. One of them is the fact that there is some uncertainty when it comes to renewing your lease. There is some uncertainty as far as like what can you do, what you can't do. And I know a lot of people, regardless of their situation, are just not going to be able to buy ever. They're never going to be able to buy because there's not enough houses to purchase anyway. There's just not. So what do you dislike about renting? What do you like about renting, right? I mean, one of the benefits to renting is that you do not have to feel you're not obligated to much other than your lease. And once your lease is up, then you can move around. So there's that flexibility. But what do you dislike and what do you like about renting? Number 5, the 5th question is, what percentage of your retirement portfolio will the equity in your home represent? Now, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not your financial advisor. I don't play one on TV. But you do want to consider that when people talk about homes, specifically their primary residence being an investment, they're really talking about their retirement portfolio. They're not really talking about flipping properties and making money through transactions. They're really talking about their retirement portfolio. And there's 2 aspects to your retirement portfolio. Just a quick side note. I was down in Old Town, 2 weeks ago for a walking tour, a historic architecture walking tour with my oldest son, AW2. And I've been to Old Town several times. We've been living here almost 10 years. It'll be 10 years next August. And I have never noticed all of the plane noise. I mean, all of the noise from the planes overhead. Now, I know Reagan, our national airport, is right down the way, but it never occurred to me that there was so much plane noise. I think it's because I'm usually coming down here to do something, so I'm not necessarily like having conversations, or it's like to go to a restaurant or to visit a store or just to walk around, usually by myself sometimes. So when we were doing a tour, it was just so noisy from their planes. And so now you get to see that even more so because of the waterfront here, right? So again, question number 5, what percentage of your retirement portfolio will equity in your home represent? And I was explaining to you how your home represents two portions of income for you, or not necessarily income, but two categories of your retirement portfolio to consider. First, you have your equity piece, which now once you assume, you pay off your mortgage in 15, 20, 30 years, whatever payment plan you're going to use. Testing. Okay, yes. So whatever payment plan you plan on using, you now have that equity piece. So if something were to occur or happen to you, or maybe you need to relocate, now you have that chunk of money that's essentially like a savings account, right? The second piece that I don't think enough people think about or consider is that once you own your property free and clear, you no longer have a mortgage payment or a interest payments, right? I mean, you don't have any principal or interest payments. So now you live in the same neighborhood as everyone else around you, but now you only have taxes and insurance and housing maintenance, right? So that's still an expense that will be tied to your home forever. But those are like the three expenses, pieces that you have left, right? So you have the principal and interest, right? Principal and interest you no longer have once you pay your house off, and so you will still have taxes, insurance, and you will have maintenance. So how does that play into your retirement strategy, your sunset years strategy? I think it's something you want to consider. I think it's something that you want to start thinking about right now. Question number 6. Do you plan on renting when you retire? So this is almost like a 2-part question, where if you're going to be renting when you retire, where are you going to rent? How much do you believe that rent will cost you? Have you budgeted for that amount of money? It is a gorgeous day out here. It's a gorgeous day. Yes. So when you're thinking about renting in your retirement years, and I know, a lot of the people who reach out to us on our channel, they're in their late 20s, 30s, early 40s. We get some people who are in their retirement years, but for the most part, our channel skews to that first-time home buyer or move-up buyer, right? So they've purchased their first property, maybe a condo or a smaller townhouse, and so they're moving up. So it may be challenging for that segment of our audience to understand or appreciate this question right now, but it's something you want to consider because you can do something right now about that, this particular problem, right? So do you plan on renting when you retire? Number 7, again, with this same type of line of thinking is, can you afford to rent when you retire based on your current savings and investment strategy? So I want you to consider that, I already mentioned this, the investment calculators or the calculators that talk about rent versus buying are usually saying that if you do decide to rent, that you're going to take the savings that you would have used to purchase a home, to maintain a home, and you're going to put that money into the market. So use this video right now as a reminder that there is supposed to be some investments on your side if you are renting right now. Renting should provide you with, hopefully, some type of cushion in your budget so that you can afford to put money on the side for savings so that you can still get similar advantages to owning a home, which is that equity piece. All right, 8th question that I want you to consider when you're thinking about should you buy a home right now is, who benefits from you waiting to buy a home? Who's the beneficiary of you waiting to buy a home? If you're renting right now, it's the landlord, right? Because the landlord continues to get income from you. Now, I don't want you to think too harshly about that statement, because there's always going to be landlords and there's always going to be renters. So even when you move out, somebody else is going to move in. So that place, that there's always a placeholder right there for these types of properties. What I want you to consider is, how does renting benefit someone else, right? So specifically, I see a lot of these YouTube channels who are more or less like doom and gloom, the market is crashing every day type content. And in the comment section of those YouTube channels, those YouTube videos, you could just tell people are just afraid to make a decision. And that's fine and all, right? But you got to think about, like, how long do you plan on working? How long can you honestly work? And when you consider that question, just know we don't really see that many 65, 70-year-old go-getters. It does look like there's a limit to how much energy you want to spend working. So what do you plan on doing with that, right? So we're almost finished. We have 2 more questions to go. If you made it this far, my name is Abraham Walker, Ask A Walker, Northern Virginia real estate agent. There is a link below in the description to fill out the Perfect Home questionnaire. You fill out that questionnaire if you're ready to make the next step in either your home buying or your home selling process, right? So you fill out that form and we'll schedule a time to meet via Zoom, answer all your questions, see what the next step is from there. So click that link in the description if you're ready to make that next step. So the 9th question I want you to consider is, when was the best time to buy a home? I think it's important to realize that the best time to buy a home was always in the past. It's never in the future. Sure, you could have purchased a home at 2.5% interest rate. Sure, you could have purchased Sure, you could have purchased at a 2.5% interest rate. Sure, you could have purchased when there wasn't really that much competition. Sure, you could have purchased when home prices were less expensive. But that's all in the past. And unless you're a professional gambler, do you want to take the risk of waiting, right? Can you afford to wait? I don't know. I don't know the answers to that, right? So I'm not one of the channels who will say that, things will get better in the future. I really don't know. If you can afford to purchase a home right now, then that's sort of what you should do. That's sort of what you should do. Oh, look, there's a little wedding out here. Hold on, let's see. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. This place is gorgeous. This place is gorgeous. So yeah, ninth question, when's the best time to buy a house? It's always in the past. When's the best time to plant a tree? It's always in the past. You can't do anything about it. So it's time to make a decision, or at least put together a plan, right? Hopefully these questions will help you put together a plan. Final question I want you to think about is, how long will you really keep the property? How long will you really keep the property? Statistics from the National Association of Realtors says that the average homeowner keeps a property anywhere from 7 to 11 years. 7 to 11 years. So this home purchase that you're making isn't something that you're going to be in and out of, right? Like, you're going to spend a considerable amount of time in this property that you're going to be purchasing. So with that, let's say you do make a mistake. Let's say that the market does shift. Let's say that all kinds of things happen that are not in your control, that are considered negative events. You do have time to make up for that, right? You do have time to build equity. You do have time to course correct. You may, right? I just want to preface that I'm saying you may have the opportunity to refinance in the future. That's a possibility. I don't know if that's the case. But yeah. So those are the 10 questions. I think that if you answer those questions afterwards, you would have a better grasp, right, of whether or not you should buy a home right now. I don't think anybody can make that decision for you. There's a lot of steps that go in the process anyway, so I think that it's definitely something that you would want to be in control of. But I don't want you to be fearful. I don't want you to be afraid. And I also want you to be realistic. So I guess that's a good place to end this video. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. I also hope that it helps you in this home buying process. We're never going to be the type of channel, right? We'll never be the type of channel where we will try to instill any type of fear into our clients, into the atmosphere, right? We're much more of a positive. I'm just more of a positive person, so I'm optimistic. So I really can't make that kind of content. So I want to make sure that that whoever you are watching this video, that you have a good experience. Even if you don't use our services, I hope that you enjoy your time in the Northern Virginia area. There's so much to do. Come check out Waterfront Park in Alexandria, city of Alexandria. And that's it for me. So I'll see you on the next video. Peace.